Have you ever felt like life is a race you never agreed to run? Like you're sprinting through challenges, obstacles popping up left and right, yet the finish line keeps shifting? You wake up some days wondering if you're behind everyone else, if you'll ever catch up. But here's a truth people often forget. The race of life isn't about speed. It's about heart. It's not about who gets there first. It's about who never gives up. Let me tell you a story. A story that just might stay with you longer than most things you hear today. It's about a young man named Elijah. Not famous. Not rich. Just real, raw, and unstoppable in a way most people wouldn't understand until much later. Elijah was born into struggle. His father walked out when he was 5. Just packed a bag and left one morning without looking back. His mother, Sandra, worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. Not to buy luxuries, but to keep the lights on and food in the fridge. While other kids rode bikes and played games, Elijah learned how to count coins at the corner store to help his mom buy groceries. Life was never handed to him, but that never made him bitter. In fact, he smiled. Not often, not wide, but it was a kind of quiet smile that said, "It's okay. I've got this." In school, Elijah wasn't the star. He struggled to read numbers. Confused him, and teachers often assumed he didn't care. But the truth, he cared more than anyone. He just couldn't catch up fast enough. Labels followed him: slow, lazy, distracted. But inside, something was burning. A whisper he couldn't silence. You're made for more. Keep going. In high school, something unexpected happened. Elijah started running, not away from anything but towards something. He didn't even know what. But every morning before the sun even peeked over the rooftops, he ran. Streets were quiet, air still, and in those early hours, he felt free. No judgment. No labels. Just his heartbeat, his breath, and that whisper that never left him. He joined the track team, not because he was fast, but because he showed up. No one thought he'd make a difference. He wasn't the star sprinter or the coach's favorite. He was the one they barely noticed. But after practice, when everyone left, Elijah stayed, running extra laps in silence, training in the dark. Not because anyone told him to, but because he wasn't finished yet. One evening, as the janitor locked up the field, Coach Thompson paused and asked, "Why do you stay so late, Elijah?" And Elijah, breathing hard, sweat dripping, just smiled and said, "Because I'm not done yet." His senior year, things started to shift. Elijah had earned a spot on the 4x400 relay team. For once, he wasn't just the extra kid. They needed him. But then, the night before the biggest race of the season, life struck again. His mother collapsed at her job from exhaustion. A heart attack. Elijah rushed to the hospital. Machines beeped, nurses moved fast, and all he could do was sit beside her, holding her hand. Coach called. "We need you tomorrow," he said quietly. Elijah whispered, "I don't know if I can." That night, something happened. As he sat beside his unconscious mother, thinking about quitting, thinking maybe it was time to stop chasing dreams that never came true, her hand twitched, her eyes opened slightly. And with barely enough strength to form the words, she looked at him and said, "Keep running, son, even when it hurts." The next day, Elijah laced up his shoes. Exhausted, emotionally wrecked, but he showed up. Not because he had anything to prove, but because his mother believed in him, and he had to believe too. When it came time for the race, Elijah was the final runner, the anchor. The one they counted on to close the gap. The baton slapped into his hand. They were behind. The stadium erupted. Feet pounded the ground. Wind tore across the track. But Elijah ran like every second mattered. Ran like every step could change his life. He wasn't just chasing victory. He was chasing worth, chasing purpose. chasing every moment he'd ever been counted out. As he neared the finish line, neck and neck with the leader, something inside him exploded. He pushed harder, faster, beyond his limits. And he crossed that line first, just barely. But first, there were no national headlines, no viral videos. But for Elijah, that win meant more than gold. It was the first time he realized he could turn pain into power, that everything he'd survived wasn't meant to break him, it was building him. After graduation, Elijah didn't go to a fancy college. There were no scholarships waiting. He took a job cleaning offices at night, spent his days studying at a community college. Slowly, quietly, he moved forward. People his age sped past him, new cars, promotions, Instagram-worthy lives. But Elijah kept his head down. His race wasn't theirs. And that was okay. Over time, he earned his degree, got a job at a youth center, worked with kids who felt forgotten, just like he once did. He didn't just teach them how to run. He taught them how to live, how to fight, how to keep going when it hurts. He said to them, life isn't fair, but your effort, your heart, that's yours, and no one can take it from you. Years passed. Elijah became a coach, not just on the track, but in life. One day, a boy named Mason came up to him, wide-eyed and nervous, and asked, Coach, how do I know if I'm winning in life? Elijah smiled, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, if you're still running, son, you already are. Life tested Elijah again. His mother, the woman who taught him to never quit, passed away peacefully in her sleep. The pain came like a wave-sharp, silent swallowing. He sat on her old porch the night of the funeral, alone under the stars, tears pouring. And as he looked out into the quiet night, he whispered, I'm still running, Mom, just like you. Said, that year, Elijah started a free running club for inner-city youth. No sign-up fees, no uniforms, just shoes and hope. The streets became their track. The pain in their lives became fuel. And slowly, the kids who once felt invisible started to shine. One girl, Maria, hugged him after a long run and said, you made me believe I can win my race too. Elijah didn't become rich. He didn't build an empire. But he built something better. A legacy of strength, of heart, of resilience. And most of all, belief. Even now, years later, with bad knees and gray hairs creeping in, he still runs. Not as fast, not as far, but he runs. Because every step reminds him. He's still in the race, and now, maybe you are too. If you're tired, keep going. If you feel left behind, remember, this isn't their race. It's yours. The world will try to outrun you, but you don't need to chase them. Run your pace. Run with heart. Because the true race of life isn't about who crosses first, about who refuses to quit. One day, when you look back, you won't remember the trophies or the applause. You'll remember the mornings you got up when you didn't want to, the nights you cried and still tried, the failures that shaped you, and the small victories that kept you breathing. Elijah's story is your reminder that even when life throws everything at you, even when you feel like you've got nothing left, there's always a little more in you. One more step, one more breath, one more reason to keep going. So run, even if you're limping, even if you're crawling, even if no one else sees your finish line. Run, because you were never meant to quit. Run, because this is your race, and you were born to finish it.